welcome back. We are looking at algebraic fractions where we are multiplying and dividing. So we have an example on the board. We have 14 x3 divided by 9y index 2. Now, as you have seen, we are dividing here. So whenever we are dividing, we convert this division into multiplication. We convert that division into multiplication. So where we have division, we need to replace division with a multiplication. And once we replace division with multiplication, the next fraction is affected. It is affected in a manner that we need to reciprocate. We need to swap between the denominator and the numerator. So once we change this into multiplication, then the next fraction, this one, will be affected. We shall have to swap between the denominator and the numerator. They will exchange positions. So we shall have 18y3 over 7x index 4. Yes. So this is what happens whenever you are handling division of algebraic fractions. You always swap the numerator and the denominator after changing the division into multiplication. So as soon as we change division into multiplication, the next fraction we swap between the numerator and the denominator. So you can see 18y index 3 was our denominator, now it is our numerator after changing division into multiplication. So once we do that now, we are free to look for common factors between the numerators and the denominators, diagonally and vertically. We are free to look for common factors diagonally and vertically. When we are dealing with multiplication, that is allowed. So that's why we are looking for a common factor diagonally or vertically. So you can see that 9 can go into 18 two times. So why not say 9 into 9 is 1 and 9 into 18 is 2 times. Also, we can say 7 into 7 is 1 and 7 into 14 is 2. Yes, so that we are ending up with 2x index 3 out of y index 2 multiplied by 2y index 3 out of x index 4. Yes, so this is what we are remaining with after looking for the common factors diagonally. Okay, now you can see we also have the common factors diagonally on the variables. We also have the common factors diagonally on the variables. You can see here we have x index 4 and here we have x index 3. So you can see we could, why not say x index 3 into x index 4, we shall just remain with the x. And also x y index 2 is 1 and the y index 2 into y index 3 we shall remain with the y. So that altogether we shall have on the numerator here we shall have 2 out of the denominator 1 multiplied by here we have 2 and we have y out of x. Oh yes. So once we are multiplying, for us to get the numerator, we need to multiply the numerators. For us to get the numerator, we multiply the numerators. For us to get the denominator, we multiply the denominators. So let's get the numerator. We shall say 2 multiplied by 2y. So we shall have 4y. And also we shall say 1 multiplied by x. We shall have x. once we have 4y as our numerator and x as denominator, there is nothing that we can do to proceed further. So we shall just end here on this particular question, and basically this will be our final answer concerning this question. Okay, so whenever we are dividing, we need to change into multiplication, and once we change into multiplication, then also we need to swap the next fraction. Okay, let's look at our second example. Okay, so when you look at our second example, we have 18a index 2b out of 16c index 3d index 2. Then as you have seen here, so this is what we have copied down here. Now you have seen there is division in here. So as we said in the previous example, once we have division, we need to convert into multiplication. So we shall say multiplied by. Now, once we change division into multiplication, the next fraction will be affected. It will be affected in a manner that the denominator and the numerator will be swapped. The denominator and the numerator will exchange positions. So, in our case, we shall have 15c b index 3 out of 24a. So basically this is what happens whenever you change division into multiplication. The next fraction is affected in a manner that you would have to reciprocate the denominator and the numerator. You have to swap between your numerator and your denominator. So now we have swapped here, and we need to continue. We go to the other one where we say 8c index 2 and d index 3 out of 30a index 3 b. Bear in mind that the only fraction that is affected is the immediate next after division. After division, when you convert division into multiplication, the only fraction that is affected is the immediate next, just after the division. All the others that follow will not be affected. You don't swap them. So what we just swapped was this one. It has gone into, we have swapped 15 is now here and 24a is down here. This one will remain the way it is because we have multiplication. Okay, let's continue. So as we continue, when we reach this stage, like the way we handled the previous example, we shall say, we shall look for common factors diagonally and vertically. We shall look for common factors both diagonally and vertically because we are multiplying. So we can look for common factors diagonally, and vertically. Okay. So let's check. You have seen we have 15 and 30. So why not say 15 into 15 is 1, 15 into 30 is 2. Oh yes. And also we can say we have 8 here and we have 16. So why not say 8 into 8 is 1 and 8 into 16 is 2. And we have 24. We have 24 here. Okay, before we even go to 24, we have 18 and 2. So again here we could say 2 into 2 is 1 and 2 into 18 is 9. Okay, yes. So we have done that one. And also we could say we have a 9 here and we have 24 here and we have a 2 here. Okay, just to avoid so much working on one space, why not just copy this? We say here we have 9, then A index 2 out of, we have C index 3 and D index 2. We are multiplying, here we have C, B index 3 out of 24, A multiplied by, here we have C index 2, D index 3 out of, we have 2, A index 3 and B. Okay. We can continue and look at more common factors both vertically and diagonally. So, as you have seen, we could also say 3 into 9 is 3, and 3 into 24 is 8. Okay, 3 into 24 is 8. Okay, so you can see what we are looking at. So again, let's look now at the variables. When you look at the variables, let's check what is common also. So you can see that on the numerators, okay, even before we do that, let's multiply. We have a 3 here as our numerator, so we copy it down. And on the denominator, we have 3 here. Here we have 1 and here we have 1. So we say 3 times 1 times 1, so we get 3. Here we have 1 as the coefficient, so 1 times 8 times 2, we shall get 16. So our denominator will have the coefficient 16 and our numerator will have the coefficient 3. Okay, so now let's now multiply the variables. You can see we have a square, then we have b and another b. So b times b index 3, we have b index 4, then we have c and c2, so we have c index 3. Okay, so a index 2 and b times b index 3, b4. C times C index 2, C3. Okay, now moving down to the denominator, we have, of course, you can see there is A here. So A times A index 3, we have A index 4. Okay, so now B, we just have one B here. So we just copy that same B that we have. And now you see, we have C, we just have C index 3, we copy it the way it is, and you can see we have D index 2, so we have D index 2. Okay, so once we do this one, we need now to check what is common between the denominator and the numerator. Of course, the coefficients, they have no common factor, so we just copy them the way they are. We maintain our 16 and our 3. So now, check. Here we have a square and here we have a4. So why not say a square into a square is 1, and a square into a4 is a. Okay. So also moving to b, why not say b into b4, we shall remain with a3 here. Okay. And also we shall say C3 and C3. So this just disappear the way it is. Then we just have D2 down here. So finally, we have B3 on our numerator. These are gone. And on our denominator, we have A square. And we have D square. So once we do this, then we are home and dry. We are done. need simply to end them. So basically, this is how we handle a multiplication and division of algebraic fractions. So just be mindful when you are dividing, when there's a division, an operation, we need to convert it into multiplication. Once we convert into multiplication, the next fraction is always affected. You need to swap between the numerator and the denominators. And whenever you are multiplying, multiply the numerators to get the numerator. Multiply the numerators to get the numerator. And multiply the denominators to get the denominator. So basically, those are the two major rules that we observe under multiplication and division. When you are multiplying, multiply the numerators to get the numerator. And multiply the denominators to get the denominator. Take for example, when you have 2 out of 3, you are multiplying by 1 out of, for example, 4. For you to get the final answer here, the answer here, this is multiplication. So when you are multiplying, multiply the numerators to get the numerator. So you say 2 times 1, you get 2. And multiply the denominators to get the denominator. So you say 3 times 4, you get 12. And now, once you reach here, you just need to look for a common factor between the numerator and the denominator, which you have seen in our case, it is just 2. 2 into 2 is 1, and 2 into 12 is 6. So, 2 out of 3 times 1 out of 4 is simply 1 out of 6. So, when you're multiplying, multiply the numerators to get the numerator and the denominator to get the denominator. But when you are dividing, you need to change. You need to change this division into multiplication, where you say 2 out of 3. Now you need to change this division into multiplication. And once you change division into multiplication, the next fraction is affected, where you need to swap the numerator and the denominator. So in our case, we shall swap between 1 and 4 and get 4 over 1. And once you are multiplying fraction, you multiply the numerators to get the numerator in the answer. Multiply the numerators to get the numerator in the answers, and the denominators to get the denominator in the answer. So basically, these are the two major concepts that are applied here. So thank you for your attention.